How's it going, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle, and we're going to be talking about the minimum wage increase. So Washington State just passed a law that says come January 1 of 2024, they're taking the minimum wage from what it is right now at $15.74 an hour. They're going to take that up over 3% to $16.28 an hour for people who are 16 years or older. That will be the new minimum wage. And as you guessed, it's probably igniting a whole bunch of different conversations and political debates left and right about whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. So I'm going to give you my Washington State resident, millionaire business owner's perspective, and also a guy who made minimum wage because my first job was working at McDonald's. And then I worked at Walmart. I've made minimum wage, and now I'm a millionaire with a bunch of real estate, and I'm making a bunch of money. So let me give you a perspective that maybe you haven't heard, because I'm going to start right out the gate with, I don't care, it doesn't matter. Let me explain why. There's 50 different states in our country, and for the most part, they all have different minimum wages. Yeah, there's a federal minimum wage that a few of them follow, but there's a lot of different minimum wages across the country. And what you see is in every state, at every price point, whether you're making $7.50 an hour or $5.05 an hour, which was the minimum wage for me back in 2004 in North Dakota when I worked at McDonald's, whether you're at the federal minimum wage, $10 an hour, $15 now, or now $16.28 in Washington State, no matter where you are, the people at the bottom aren't making enough money to actually live according to the standards of paying for your own rent and groceries and things like that. That's the common argument, and you've probably heard the phrase, it's not a living wage. We deserve a living wage. You got to be very careful because people hijack language to make sure that you get your heartstrings pulled on and they can win arguments. Now, I'm not against the idea of a living wage. I'm not against the idea of a minimum wage. I'm not against the idea of workers getting theirs. In fact, I think that workers have been left behind, especially with how badly inflation has been increasing and how much profits for some companies have been going up while at the same time that their employees aren't making equal gains. I am not refusing to see or look at those statistics or listen to that. Absolutely not. Here's why I don't think that it matters, okay? Every time we raise the minimum wage, initially what happens is a bunch of local small businesses that happen to hire people that are at that minimum wage, like restaurants and things like that, they're the ones that are hardest hit, right? Makes sense that like these companies, Boeing, for instance, the company Boeing, which is a Seattle company, doesn't have anybody that makes minimum wage there. Maybe there's like a janitor or something, but they're engineers, they're mechanics, they're the people that are out there working. Nobody makes minimum wage. Not a major issue for them. Who it affects? McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy's, local mom and pop restaurants, and smaller businesses like that. They're the ones who get hit first. And the restaurant industry is already running on such a small profit that it's tough for them to absorb those costs. But what happens? Well, the people who say if you raise the minimum wage, all that's going to happen is prices go up. Well, yeah, they're right. Prices are going to go up. Prices will go up. A little bit of inflation is going to occur. Some jobs are going to be lost. Some businesses are going to be shut down. And the people that are pro minimum wage say, well, then they shouldn't be allowed to be a business anyways if you can't afford to pay your workers. Cool. Fair enough. I'm not going to say that you're wrong or right because that's just a moral question we're going to get involved in, and we're probably never going to see eye to eye on it. But here's why it doesn't matter. Yeah, the people who are going to benefit from this increase in minimum wage are going to be the people who are making minimum wage today. They're going to see a minor bump in their hourly wage, a very minor bump. I mean, it's like less than $1. It's like 50-cent bump in their hourly wage. And that's going to be a positive effect for them in the short term. But within just a few months, prices will stabilize and equilibrium will be reached at a new higher price point. Businesses are not going to go out of business. They're going to raise their prices to offset the new increase in labor cost. And all that'll happen is the expense will be passed on to you, the consumer. Which is why I don't really care. People panic about minimum wage going up. Okay, you're just going to raise your prices anyways. You're not going out of business. Yeah, it's not going to help the employee. It's just going to make them feel better. It's not going to hurt the business. You'll just charge more. But you know what? There is a secret benefactor behind all of this that maybe you haven't thought about before. I'm going to get to that in just a second here. It's very interesting. You should stay tuned because it's a secret tax that's hidden in there. And I'm going to explain it in just a minute. The businesses will find a way to survive. Yeah, some of them are going to move here, there, shut down, or whatever they're going to deal with. Okay, but it's not going to be enough of a number that's going to crash the economy. And yeah, these people are going to make a little bit more money, but it's not going to be any substantial amount of money that's actually going to meaningfully impact their lives for the positive. 50 cents an hour, bro. Work 1 hour of overtime and you just made up for all of that 50 cents. I mean, like times 3, okay? It's not a meaningful impact. What this is this is a ploy by the politicians to try to show you they're working for you or to try to win your vote over. It's one of those issues that never gets solved because it drives out votes and it drives out donations and it starts campaigns and it gets the young people who are the most important voting demographic to come out in numbers and fight and support and blah, 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 blah. It's just a manipulation tactic, okay? I think we can all agree 50 cents an hour increase is not enough to help anyone, not enough to hurt anyone. It's just something people will say, well, look, I fought for the minimum wage. Vote for me. Wonderful. But here's who's helped by the increase in minimum wage. Here's who actually gets helped. As I mentioned earlier, the market will stabilize, prices will hit some sort of equilibrium, and the people who are making minimum wage will still not be able to afford the living wage and the standard of living that they claim to want. And the proof of that is in any state you look at, regardless of the minimum wage is $16.28 or $18 in California or $10 in the Midwest or $7 in the Midwest. The bottom 25% of people making minimum wage are always struggling, and it doesn't matter where we raise it to after things settle and stabilize. The people at the bottom are still always at the bottom, and this just becomes the new normal, the new bottom. All right? It's that simple. But you know who benefits from it? The government. Do you know why? Because of tax brackets. Everything else is going to stabilize, but now the people at the bottom, if they bump up into a higher tax bracket, well, they can be taxed more. Wonderful. We, the government, can make more money. The business owner doesn't get helped. The employee certainly isn't getting helped. You, me, anybody, it doesn't do anything good or bad for us. It just either gets us fighting with each other or makes you feel good like something happened. The only people who make more is the government, because as you get paid more money, you pay more in taxes. And what's even better, as I mentioned earlier, if you bump up into a higher tax bracket, then you really pay more in taxes. This isn't designed to help you. It's not going to be that impactful. It's not going to solve any world issues. The real way to solve the problem of you not making enough money, you not having a living wage, you not being able to live in a house and own a home, the real way to do that is to outwork and outcompete those around you. And I know this is a sucky answer for the people out there who are like, hey, we need more minimum wage. That'll solve our problems. I shouldn't have to work more than 40 hours a week. Screw the corporations. They suck. I hate them. I don't want to slave away for some corporate overlord. I want to enjoy my time. Dude, I get it. I get it. I'm not sitting here telling you that you should slave away for the corporations. One of the things that I've done on my channel is I've documented it over the last 5 years where my first video, you can check me, no money in the bank, single father, recently divorced, and I wanted to figure out how to get out of the freaking financial matrix and become financially free and independent. And I chose the vehicle of real estate investing. But what I did first was work 3 jobs and work a crap load of overtime because I'm not a college graduate. I didn't have any silver spoon in my mouth. I have no rich benefactors. I don't have any special skill set other than being incredibly funny and very handsome. But it's hard to monetize that. I'm not a woman. I can't monetize my looks. It's the worst, honestly. But the way that you get out of this problem that you have is you have to work more in the short term. This is not your life plan. You'll work a lot of overtime and a lot of extra hours for the next 5 years. It sucks. You save every extra penny that you can. You cut some of your expenses down. I don't want to hear about how cutting coffee out is going to be the key to Yeah, it is. Stop going out to eat, stop buying coffee, work more, save that money. Once you get that type of money and you can save $20,000, which anybody can save, especially if you're making $16.28 an hour, okay? Get some roommates, cut down on your spending, save as much as you can, work some overtime, get a second job, save yourself $20,000, and then you do what I did. You want to buy a house. I know interest rates suck. I know prices are at an all-time high. I know in an area like Seattle where I live here, it's very tough. It's a competitive market. But I did it. I did it. Why can't you? Instead of buying a house, do what I did. Buy a duplex or a triplex. Live in one side. You already have roommates right now, right? You're probably living with 2 or 3 or 4 of your friends. In fact, it's so common for people to have roommates in their 20s. They made an entire show about it called Friends, or what the Big Bang Theory, I mean, like, roommates is what you're gonna do, okay? So instead of all of you guys living in an apartment and paying a landlord, you, the person watching this who hates my guts for talking about minimum wage, you be the landlord. Buy a duplex and tell your friends, hey, come live in my duplex and don't pay the landlord, pay me. Get a little bit of money from them, it'll help pay for the mortgage, live there for a few years, and then as the equity increases in that property, or as the value goes up, if you don't want to be a landlord, once it's gone up in value a little bit, just sell it and then buy a house. It's that easy. Or maybe you're going to realize, hey, it's actually not so bad to have roommates. It's actually not so bad to have renters. I can pull from my friend pool of people I was already going to rent with anyways, or your siblings or your family. Make this a family event. We as Americans, for whatever reason, we do not take advantage of the fact that most of us are born with siblings. I'm the oldest of 5 boys. My youngest brother lives with me now. Every single one of my brothers, except for one, has lived with me at some point. Dude, go to your network of family and friends and figure out a plan to be successful together. Railing against businesses and corporations that are the ones who pay and buy off the politicians that claim to support you anyways. Railing against these businesses isn't going to get you anywhere. The only person who's going to look out for you and take care of you is you. You can be pissed off and go to the rallies and go to the marches and try to raise money for the campaigns, and you can sit there and you can vote, and then the politician gets in there and guess what happens? They didn't lower student loan debt anyways. They said, oh, wait, we appreciate your vote, but unfortunately we're not going to do anything about the student loan debt, even though we've got the majority in this House and the majority in the Senate, we got the presidency. Doesn't matter. We don't care. We ain't helping you. So it doesn't matter who you vote for. The only person who's going to help you is you, and you've only got a very finite amount of time in your life where you're a young, motivated person who has the ability to work hard and go out there and charge hard and accomplish things. And if you don't capitalize on the 20 years of youth you have between 18 and 38, you're going to miss it. Life's going to pass you by. And you're going to be so bitter, angry, resentful, and filled with regret by the time you hit retirement at 50, 60, 70, if you even get to retire. Don't bank on Social Security being there. It probably won't be. If you don't seize the moment now and take care of yourself now, nobody is coming to save you. And I don't, even though you disagree with me politically, I don't want to see you miserable, taken advantage of, upset, unhappy, and pissed off at the world. I know it sucks to be told, work harder. I know it's not fun. It's not what you want to hear. You're tired of the situation that the boomers left us, and I don't disagree with you. They have kicked the financial, economic disaster can down the road at every opportunity they've had over the last 50 years. And now that the bill is finally coming due, they are all going to die and leave us with the check. I'm pissed at it too, but guess what? I wasn't born when they started their crap, and I wasn't able to vote on it, and now I'm being served this plate of garbage, and there's only one thing I can do. Work to make it better, because complaining about it and letting it fester and ruin my life and ruin my opportunities isn't an option for me. I choose to build my own financial future and not bank on Social Security, not rely on how they've screwed us over. I'm going to build and create for myself and be financially successful, which is what I've done. Watch my channel if you don't believe me. If you're pissed off about the minimum wage, get over it. Figure out a way to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And with that Bear Grylls quote, I leave ya. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.